Yeah. Shoot, I'm gonna keep it a buck. For me, and probably for Nadia too, um, lack of discipline. A lack of discipline. Um, some things I feel like I'm disciplined with out of like necessity, like work. You know, I'm gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there because I gotta be there. I gotta be there to pay the bills. You know. But I feel like there's another aspect to it. Is like to set a routine and follow the routine, to stick to it. Like some of the most disciplined times in my life are where I was forced to have structure, you know? So like when I was working 12-hour shifts in the refinery, I had a little bit of time. I had a small amount of time that was allocated for me. And with that time, I knew what to do with it. Now there's an onslaught of other things that I'm busy with, right? Family, the kids, the dogs. So those things kind of like I desperately need discipline and routine in my life, and I can follow something for a couple weeks, but at some point, you know what I mean? Something gets hit. That's why I'm saying like when it comes to the things that Nadia and I are saying that we want to prioritize this next year, like we want to implement it into our daily routine so we make sure that we're hitting the mark. Like what actions are we taking daily to make sure that we get to the end goal?
Do you like? I feel like we're kind of at the point in our lives, like age wise, where we start to know ourselves a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you feel like there's something that constantly gets you out of your rhythm, as far as like general discipline or whatever it might be?
Yeah. um, I don't want to. All right, so I'm not placing blame. It's a decision I made, but I made a lot of decisions as a young adult, like super young adult, like 18, 19, 20, to like mid 20s that I thought I was ready for. Like even getting dogs, you know, even just getting those two dogs. Having two dogs is like having two kids, you know. You can
Having one dog is like I know because
Yeah.
I had no clue, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had no clue.
You need babysitters, you know what I'm saying? I mean, dog sitters, you can't even leave a certain amount of distance with them. They need to get their exercise,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, they're never going to feed themselves. They're never going to clean up after themselves. They're not going to walk themselves. Like, they demand your time and your attention,
Facts.
you know? And then also, too, even having kids, bro, I was in a rush, you know, to keep up with my cousins are not wanting to be an old parent or old dad. And honestly, for me and Nadia, we were probably two individuals that could have benefited off just being married for a good 5 years prior to deciding to have children. Nadia was pregnant before we were even married a year. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it's those types of decisions that we're still trying to mature up to being ready for those things. You know what I mean? And it's like there's only so much time, but maturation is a process. And I think that certain decisions we made prematurely, and we're trying to catch up to those.
That's a tough conversation I had with Charles Slappy when I first got married. Was he had said, "Take your time, go travel, do what you want to do." He's like, and then have kids.
Yeah.
And at first, I low-key was offended. Like I was like, "What do you mean, bro? Like, what kind of person would say that they don't want to have kids?" And he was just like, I'm just saying, because like you want to grow your relationship with your wife, like have that solid. Because eventually your kids turn 18 or whatever age, they grow up, and it's gonna be you and her. So he's like, that was his whole intention behind like saying that. But like, I get what you're saying. Like, it kind of seems like certain things can't get done because of certain decisions. But
you got to learn how to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to do both. And I'm that's coming from me because I was a young parent as well. I was a young married. You know what I'm saying? We was married 21, 22.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? We had kids. We went from 1 to 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? And then had 3 in diapers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I get it. And me being on this side, what I can tell you is what helps you to become disciplined is a sense of urgency. Is having a sense of urgency. Like, I wish I had known a lot of the things that I know now back then. That's always hindsight. That's what everybody says, right? But in the sense of, like, there's a difference between people telling you stuff rather than teaching you stuff, right? Don't you gotta find teachers and not tellers. And that's why I feel like a lot of us have always had people telling us stuff like, oh yeah, you should do this, you should do that, but they're not like really tying it to something. A good teacher will tie it to something and put context to it and give you like an exercise to, you know what I'm saying, to kind of work it out. So you can really comprehend what it is that you're being told. And so what I mean by when I'm saying urgency is the fact of, like, dude, you're not raising kids. You're raising future adults. And so the thing is, your kids are getting smarter and older by the minute. You know that. You've recognized this, right? I seen what you posted the other day about that video with, like, you know what I'm saying, it's almost Christmas and my daughter knows I ain't really as funny as she thinks I am. As I think I am. And she laughed for a minute and she just looking into the right? But the thing is, like, your kids are already there, bro. They're already there. And so the thing is that you and Nadia have to come to the understanding of is, what is the vision for your family? What do you want your family to look like? Me and Raquel have had several conversations about what we wanted our family to look like, which is the fact is we refuse to let our children outgrow us, which means that we're committed to a lifelong learning. We've made a commitment to lifelong learning, a commitment to lifelong growth. We're going to be growing no matter what. We're always going to be trying to learn something new. We're always going to be trying to get better. It's always about quality improvement on our part. And so the thing is that you guys are just like us. We desire for our kids to grow up and be whatever it is that God has put on their heart to be. Unhindered, unadulterated, uninhibited, without fear, completely bold and courageous. We want them to go out there and operate in their God-given gifts and talents and their abilities unapologetically and make the impact that he's created them to make. But mom and dad, if that's what you want for us, how come you ain't doing it?
Right. Yeah.
Because your kids get to an age, and I've said this, before, I don't remember where, but I came across this video and it was like, Mom, Dad, your kids will figure you out one day. Oh, I can be whatever it is that I want to be. Well, what happened to you, Mom? What happened to you, Dad? And that's the urgency, man. You fighting against that clock. Because as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I might not be as far along as I could have been had I made other decisions. You can't dwell on that.
Right.
You can't get stuck on the fact, oh, I made these decisions. That's excuses. Indifference will find an excuse, but love will find a way. And so the thing is, man, is I love my family. I love my family so much that I'll lay down my life for it. So that means if I got to lose sleep because I've done X, Y, and Z for them because it had to be done and needed to be done, I'm going to lose sleep so I can work on this because this is going to push us that much further. You see what I'm saying? So it's that sense of urgency, man, because a little folding of the hands, a little bit of slumber, and before you know it, the weeds have overgrown the house. Your kids are grown up and about to have families of their own. And you like, dang, because I was stuck thinking about, had I made this better decision or had I done this, I allowed this to interfere with my now, man. And you can't let your past interfere with your now because it's going to rob you of your future.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I totally agree. It's just growth. Is really what's, once again, kind of like, putting demand on the seed. As far as, and I've said it before, bro, like just bandwidth. When I speak to that, I feel like my bandwidth is slim, so I need to get stronger to be able to carry everything that I got going on. But something that I do want to ask y'all too, because I've been listening to a few entrepreneurs lately that will pay other entrepreneurs that they look up to, right, that are already doing 10 million plus in business, $1 million for a day's worth of their time, because they know that a day's worth of that entrepreneur's time will put their business exponentially further than it would go if they were left to do it on their own, right? Mm-hmm. This is someone who already has a proven track record. This is someone who's already done it, who can come in, look at my business and say, hey, here, and here, you need to change these things, and then follow that through to see whatever the desired growth is, right? But once again, if we just boil that down, that just comes to exposure, right? Mm-hmm. So who are the people, the men in your life that are, I guess, like discipling you or come in and say, hey, this area of your life, this aspects of your life, change this if you want your family to go this direction? You guys, who are those people for you?
I'm going to tell you off top, man. Off top, Dr. John Harris.
Yeah.
Off top. He's been a huge, like, to be honest with you, the journey started when he was doing his doctorate and he taught the class. He taught EHS, and I took the EHS class, and I had no clue what it was. Didn't know anything about it. I was like, okay, I'll be a part of this class. And he was somebody that I respected. You know what I'm saying, in the faith. And he was working on his doctorate. That was the class that he was doing. He was teaching for his doctorate, and since then it's built a relationship. You know what I'm saying, between us where, you know what I'm saying, like my family, he's literally like saved my family. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely look up to him. He's definitely a beloved, dear mentor to not just me, but to many others. I know many others have that same testimony of him. So he's definitely one that I would name as one of my go-tos.
I feel like naturally for me, I have like a lot of great men in my family, but if I were to speak outside of my family, it would be Blaze, Brandon Davis. He's the one that's poured a lot into me. He's invested into me. He always exposes me to bigger and better. I always blame him because like every time I work with him, I end up buying more gear because it's like he exposes me something better. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? And so like we start doing stuff, and so like I would definitely credit a lot of what I do now to being under his wing. All of this might not be necessarily like a look up to type of relationship, but definitely like a brother relationship. Is I was thinking about it this past week. Mason Tadlock. If it wasn't for him in my life, like, dude, he's elevated my game as far as understanding technology and learning how to make stuff work. Like, a lot of people look at our system that come in from like different churches and stuff like that and look at our system and go, who built this? They'll point them to me. And I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, dude, if it wasn't for Mason, I wouldn't even know about half this stuff.
Oh, Mason.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
So, like, it's just that kind of brotherly kind of, like, sharpening I get, and then, like, that mentorship that I feel like makes me better in business. Mason as far as challenging my skills, and then Blaze as far as pouring into me. Because not only is Blaze a business owner, I watched this dude go from being a vendor for YouTube to working for YouTube and Google. He's a father of 5, you know. Yeah, bro got 5 of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got a whole tribe. Now it kind of goes like unseen because he don't be posting them all at once sometimes on social media.
Yeah,
bro is deep.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I really live up to that dude. Always is a great conversation when I talk to him. And he's one that put me on to Steal Like an Artist. So,
that's dope.
Yep,
that's dope, man. Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I've had a lot of great men pour into my life. you know, and I have a lot of great examples. I don't know if it's that my life isn't open enough right now, or if it's that I feel like everyone is so busy, and I don't know if that's me like putting off myself, but what was that? Last forward, we were talking about the movie? I was talking about the movie Holes, right? And how everybody had to dig their own hole 6x6, you know, had to be as long and as deep as the shovel. And like my perspective on life right now is that everybody is digging. You know what I mean? Like that all the men in my life, everybody's digging and everyone has a shovel and everyone has a lot going on right now. And as far as someone getting in the hole with me, you know what I'm saying? Like with me and digging. And I'm not talking about business, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about one area of my life. I'm talking about everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Like, I see a need for that just in general. That's why I said, like, that's my desire to, man, like, God, if you free me up, you know, please free me up because I want to be able to get in and help people dig because I feel like people are just so overwhelmed with work and just being busy that it's hard to really get in the trenches with people like that, you know?
I'll say just from my experience that, you know, I've been with you at the same time where I haven't used the vocabulary of bandwidth.
Yeah.
I'll say, how can I be more efficient? Or how can I be more optimal or whatever? And, like, what I've come to realize, too, is, like, I think a lot of times when we pray to God for more strength, God's like, I've given you enough strength for what I've purposed you for, not for what you've put on the bench, if that makes sense. It's hard to use the weightlifting analogy, but it's like, it's almost like we pray for more strength and try to figure out how to be stronger, but it's just like...
You need a spot, though.
We need a spot, and are we putting too much on our plate for us to handle in the first place? It's like Donald was saying earlier, it's like there's seasons. Like, in one season, I got up at 3 a.m, but now I'm realizing in this season, I need my rest because I need to be here for my now growing, if not grown, kids. And so it's just kind of like... I think a lot too is not that everybody isn't busy, but sometimes I think like sometimes we can get in a position where we start to project, well, everybody's busy, everybody's trying to figure out what their bandwidth is, so I can't reach out because they're trying to figure out their bandwidth and I'm trying to figure out my bandwidth. When it's more so like, since you use the analogy of Holes, in every relationship there's an exchange.
Yes.
And if you look at the movie Holes, their exchange was, I'll help you dig these holes if you teach me how to read.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was like, rather than me try to figure out, okay, how do I get better at digging holes? Or how do I figure out how to better read when I can't read? It's like, oh, we can do this for each other. And it's not always about like, what can I get reciprocated out of this relationship?
Yeah, it's not quid pro quo.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just like, hey, me pouring into somebody younger, they can't do anything for me, but I know that I'm making them better off. And that's what I get out of that. And so it's just kind of like, the mindset kind of has to be, rather than trying to figure out how to expand the bandwidth, what is it that I need to either release or be okay with in the season of letting go so that my bandwidth isn't maxed out and me trying to figure out how to make more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Dr. John told us, the elders.
Yes.
Like he told us, he was like, man, he says, you know, when, you know, this was before Pastor John and Pastor Kai were gone, you know, we were like, we had a meeting with him. He's like checking the pulse. Everybody check it. It was like, literally, he's like taking the vital signs, trying to see like how y'all doing over here. And basically what he told us, man, and it was just complete wisdom, which was like, he says, man, you got to understand that you guys aren't operating at full capacity. You got to understand that in this season, like your lead pastors are gone, and so you can't put the expectation on yourself to run like as if they were here. You can't expect things to go the same way as if they were here. No, they're gone, and so what your 100% might look right now might be what 70% would look like when they were here. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, oh, we had to shift our focus. Like, if you guys were doing all of this when they were there because y'all were able to do that because you had more bodies that were, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand that, well, you don't have all the bodies that you had. And so some things are not a priority right now, going to priority. Some things are not a priority. And so you got to be comfortable with that. But to go along with what JR was saying about the exchange or anything, or sometimes you give to those that don't have anything to give in return. I had heard a preacher say one time that as far as raising your family or raising kids, he said, don't give, too many people want to give their kids their success. Well, he says, don't give them your success, give them your struggle. I would go for, I know what he meant by saying that. And I disagree to an extent with that, because not so much with what he was saying, but the way that he said it. Because I think a better context would be, don't give them your success and don't give them your struggle, but lend them your strength, because your strength is developed from your struggle, right? Don't give them the struggle, lend them your strength, because it's like that thing. It's like, okay, going back to the whole weightlifting analogy, like, okay, we're going to see if you can lift this, but if it's too heavy, I'm there to lend my strength to help you get it up, right? You get it down, I'll help you get it up. And then it might not just be just that one rep. I might do that for a couple of reps just so you can exercise, because eventually what will happen is it's part of that whole overloading your system, right? You're lifting a weight that you wouldn't be able to normally lift on your own, right? But you're doing it with assistance, and then pretty soon your body understands what's taking place, and it'll adapt and become stronger to be able to handle that, and then you won't need that assistance. But for a time, you'll need that assistance. So with the assistance, I'm lending you my strength until you develop the strength of your own to be able to do it.
And that's what's crazy. I remember you gave me a flashback talking about that when at the last school I went to when I was still playing football at Sierra College. Our strength and conditioning coach at the time, we'd be in the weight room, and he has a weight that he expects you to lift. Like, hey, from your testing, I expect you to be able to lift this. And we would go under it, and then there'd be some days where it's like, I might got 2, and I'm supposed to do 10. All right, drop the weight. All right, get back on it. And we're going. Come on, Butcher. Drop the weight. Put a little less weight. Get back on it. He's like, my goal is for you to hit 10 reps, not for me to try to kill you at 220. I'm using 225 as a generic number, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay. 300.
No
whatever.
judgment. No judgment.
Me trying to kill myself at 300 when he's like, you're not quite there yet, but you'll get there if you be consistent with your 250, if that makes sense. And so it's just like being okay with that in a season. Like you had said before, bro, we both have 2 little kids. We've been married for going on 7 years. It's just a season of life that we're in right now. Something even like my mom had said, because like she was just like, man, you always seem like you're working. I'm like, yeah, these Cardinals ain't gonna pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just like, this is a season that we're in. And like, another thing back from what Donald was saying about him, Dr. John talking about, the state of our group. What I appreciated what Dr. John did was he could have came in and caught like a general pulse. He took his time with each and every person that was in that room. It was probably like 7 of us.
Yeah.
About 7 of us. And he took like an hour with each. It wasn't like an hour. Maybe like 45 minutes varying each person. Dude, he sat there and he looked at me and said, don't deny your humanity. It's like, you're not God, bro. Like, you need to chill. And it was basically kind of like a thing of me trying to do everything and be Superman. He's like, you're still human. Even Jesus had to take a step away and rest. Are you saying that you're better than our Savior? Like,
speaking of which, have you watched The Chosen at all, bruh?
I have started The Chosen.
Oh my gosh, man! Hey, do yourself a favor and watch it, bruh.
Funny thing about Erica was like, she's like, you should have just played the clip on Sunday, and like that should have been the intro.
Right.
I was like, nah, next time,
bruh. Hey, I'm dead serious, man. It like the humanity that it brings to the scriptures, man. Like, it's so insane. Like, even just seeing like how Jesus would be. He wouldn't even be preaching. He'd just be ministering to people like from sun up all the way to sundown, bro. And then he just comes back to his tent completely exhausted, like to the point where he can't even take off his own sandals. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it shows us that like even he, like he said, even he had needed rest. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was fully God, fully man, right? Like he submitted to his humanity and didn't allow himself to be run into the ground, man. That's that whole being self-aware situation. And so it's the concept that they talk about in EHS, which is the it versus thou. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we treat people as it's, even including ourselves. Like we don't look at the personhood of people or even ourselves to the point where we look at ourselves and look at others as like basically a tool that's just for a means to an end. Right? Like we become task oriented, and we will run ourselves into the ground just to accomplish a task, as opposed to recognizing our limitations, which are a blessing from God.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
Shabbat. For my Israelites, my Hebrews out there. My don't DEFCON me, okay? Hey, no, man, but keeping it real though, I know you in deep thought over there, Stephen Joshua.
I'm in deep thought.
Wheels is turning.
Bro, it's been, but there's a lot that's taking place, you know what I'm saying, since our last episode though, man. A lot of stuff going on. It doesn't look like anything is slowing down. Shoot, internet's been going crazy over Coach Prime. Coach Prime out there in Colorado.
As soon as it dropped on ESPN, I was like, how's that looking on your list now?
Bruh, you know what I'm saying? That's what's crazy, because you know Colorado had offered Jericho like early on.
Okay.
And so Coach Prime over there, and that like was kind of raised his antennas a little bit, like, okay,
who's
that
Coach
might
Prime?
be that
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders. Did you just literally ask?
Yeah, I did. I don't watch football.
Clip it.
I don't
Clip
listen.
it.
Yep.
Clips.
Don't clip it.
Yeah.
Clips.
Cancel him. Nah, man, Deion Sanders, man. What's interesting, man, is just like how crazy. You know, that's why it's important for you to do what you do for the right reasons, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing stuff for people or because of how you gonna look for people, man. Because you know, people done tried to cancel him for making this move, calling him
I ain't
a
gonna hold you.
sellout.
I ain't gonna
and
hold
rah,
you.
rah, rah.
I ain't gonna hold you. When it first popped off, I felt like that. But then as time went along, I was like, okay, I get it. And then the more and more I read into the situation, I'm like, this has to be more than about money. I'm not saying that it wasn't a big factor. I'm just saying,
bruh,
this has to be more.
But
about
I'm
money.
just saying, look. So here's the deal, man. That's what. So it's almost like saying Nipsey should have stayed in South Central.
Okay.
And we saw how that ended.
Okay.
Right? We saw how that ended.
Okay.
So the thing is like, man, so do you beautify, make it better, and then move on? Or do you just beautify it and stay there? Because that technically ain't even his roots. He went there and saw a need and went and did what he was supposed to do, made a huge impact. I mean, brought all kinds of he went there and added value.
He did more than his job required him for. His job didn't require him to give 50% of his income to a job that was way underpaying him and his staff.
Bruh, do you realize that bruh was out there mowing the lawn?
Yes.
Because the dude
If the dude didn't show up, yeah.
Dude drove his own lawnmower over to the school to mow the lawn because the groundskeeper wasn't doing his job. He like, man, grass supposed to be mowed on Thursdays. You just, he's like, bro, I come from an era where like you got a job you supposed to do, you show up and do it. Not like when you feel like it.
And what I'm learning too is like not only did he get, because of course I'm sure that Deion Sanders and maybe some of his friends, people he's connected to, had the means to make that facility better. So I heard like rather than him paying out of his pocket to get the field fixed, he made a call to Walmart and was like, hey, not only should y'all contribute to this, that could be a sponsorship opportunity.
Yep.
Procter & Gamble coming in making sponsorship opportunities. ESPN, which there's this thing called College Game Day. They have like the Saturday morning like newscasting for football.
He got Under Armour to do their uniforms.
Under Armour too. But ESPN has never been to a historically black college ever.
Ever.
And what's crazy to me too, like if we're talking about economy, now that Coach Prime is at Colorado. This is like the biggest thing to me. It's one thing to have the draw of all the students going there. The University of Colorado, bro, literally had to add majors in order to do their recruiting.
Absolutely.
Because they want to be able to bring as many kids as possible. Because like if they come from, let's say, South Carolina, right? Then they might offer something at South Carolina that they don't offer at Colorado. Like, you know how it goes transferring to different schools. Is they literally made their majors bigger. Like this dude is giving people jobs indirectly. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
To get there. That's like
Everybody's
a LeBron effect.
jumping in the portals, man. They're jumping in the transfer portal.
That man said he brought his baggage with him, and it's Louis.
Bro, they were so raggedy over there that they stole his stuff.
Yeah, that's why I bring up the fact that it had to be something deeper than just money. Like, I'm not saying it came down to him getting his stuff stolen, but they were saying money was disappearing too. Like the amount of tickets they were selling, the math wasn't mathing.
Right.
But well, no,
I'm not sure, but it could be. I'm not sure, but I think it was. It could be. No. Man, hey, it's just raggedy all around, man. But shout out to Coach Prime, man. Glad he made that move. He got that exponential pay increase,
bro.
Man. So we're gonna see what Colorado got in store, man. But Big Co has had a big last couple of weeks, man. He's had some visits and stuff like that from some recruiters and stuff, and they've been coming and checking on him. They're like, man, you like at the top of the list for 2024. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh yeah, brother.
He's looking good, man. I even heard USC had hollered at him like real quick. You know
I
what I'm
seen
saying?
it on the Twitter.
University of South Central. You feel me?
Bro, congrats, Big Co, on all region.
Yes.
Hopefully that all state comes through. Did I text this dude?
All state.
Did you see that nomination? He's like, what does all state mean? I'm like, bro, come on, man.
Hey man, that's
Exposure.
why Susoon is the Nazareth, man, the Nazareth of California. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Oh yeah, we got Big Co, we got the show, WMD, Watch Me Develop podcast. You feel me? We out here. Yeah, man. But on that note, man, we gonna wrap it up. Hey man, we wish y'all a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year. Real quick, as we wrapping things up, man. Stephen Joshua Barnes, what's one of the things, man, that you looking forward to for 2023, man? What's something that you got on your checklist that you gonna, do with all your heart and all your might?
Sell through all this product.
Facts. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Sell through all this product, man. So that means go to wherever Ergo Dog is sold.
Yeah.
Get you an Ergo leash, get you 2, get you 12 of them, and go do that, man. I done seen some people walking some big dogs lately, and they need it. So we gotta push that out there for sure. Flip it.
What about you? What y'all got going?
What you got, JR?
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weddings in 2023. I said 10.
10.
Okay. 10 of them.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. We got goals next year.
For sure.
10 weddings. Hit me up. One already came through. So 10 weddings.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. For me, man, I want at least a minimum of 7 corporate accounts for Cali Fresh Prince, man. I'm doing 7 corporate jobs as far as that's concerned, and I'm doing nothing less than 12 placements for my music next year.
Okay.
Nothing less than 12 placements for 2023, man. So that's gonna happen, and I'm gonna at least release 1 single a month.
Do it.
So I got a lot of stuff to cover, you know what I'm saying, man? Y'all hold me to it, you know what I'm saying? Accountability straight up. So we gonna run through all your product next year. JR, you shooting. JR the shooter.
10 of them.
You know what I'm saying? Designated shooter out there.
All boats rise with the tide.
Shizzle. Yeah. And me, man, I'm definitely gonna make my have my first high 6-figure year.
Yeah.
this coming year, 2023, man. Debt-free,
Not including
baby.
benefits.
Not including benefits, baby.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Big tithe check coming to the Building Christian Fellowship.
They ain't
Facts.
spelled 2 L's.
Million. M-I-L-L. A milli, yeah. Anyhow, man, hey, we love y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with us, man. It has been an awesome year. We couldn't have done 2022 without you. And let's do, man, how can we do this, man? We got to put together something to where we can give one or two of our loyal followers some kind of gift, man, seeing as how it's the end of the year. So we gonna put that
On
out
Instagram.
there on Instagram. So make sure you guys follow us, man, on Instagram. We're gonna have something for you before this year is over. So y'all keep rocking with us. Tell a friend about the Watch Me Develop podcast. Make sure you like, share, turn on your alerts, all that stuff, and interact with us, man. We want to grow this community and see what develops in you. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Donna Blaptis, 1/3 of Watch Me Develop podcast. Here with the other 2/3, John Butcher Jr. Yeah. Stephen Joshua Bonds. Hey, man. Watch Me Develop podcast signing off for 2022. Develop or die.
Merry New Year.
We'll see you 2023. Deuces.
Boom, bing.